Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Letter. In the last episode, we finished Zach's part of the story. He went to the mansion. It did not go very well for him. He didn't really get anything out of it.
No, we did find out that we were right. Ash was not playing hide and seek in the forest.
If only Zach had listened to us. All right. So anyway, now we're seeing Marianne's part of the story. She's at a bar to meet some friends. And
friends, colleagues, acquaintances, people she sort of knows and is obligated to go to the social event.
That one. The Galway Shawl, as it's called by those who frequented the place, is the only decent Irish pub in this county. You can pretty much tell that someone is new if they call it by its official name, the Crawl Bar. My home away from home ever since I've moved to Luxbourne. Well, that is when I'm not cooped up in my condo and working anyway. It has good alcohol, good company, and thank God in St. Cecilia, good music. Crowd favorites like the Bothy Noise, the High Wesleyan Men, and Second Fusion Orchestra are often played. Not to mention the singing. I love singing. Oh, so when we started up the game today, in our Steam library, it had a picture of her holding a microphone, and we were like, what?
Yeah, I bet you she's a singer or a karaoke singer, maybe?
Anyone could just break out into a drinking song, and the others in the pub were just wonderful that they'd start singing along. And doing so while intoxicated is the best ways to go about it. Hey, it's a win-win as long as I don't puke in the middle of the chorus, and as long as I can get home in one piece at the end of the day. And tonight is karaoke night. What better time than to try and sing all of my worries away? That's what my intoxicated brain tells me.
The ghost of guilt and sorrow remembers who I am, and in the prison of my heart, I was my only slave.
Yep, this was the exact picture. But drinking only reminds me of my home, and the thought of home makes me think of her.
But in the depths of my cold soul, I'll leave the burden and despair.
Makes me nauseous. It sickens me that the smallest reminder of her can cause me such grief.
I'll fight for what's worth fighting for. Forget the fear, forget the rest.
Of course, that might just be the booze. Any other day, I would have scolded myself for drinking so much.
I lied to the Lord, I lied to myself, I lied to you and everyone I care, until there were no more lies to tell.
But I already have a client, and we'll be having our first little meet and greet in a few days.
Cowardice is easier than being brave.
Am I singing a stance and then having profound thoughts?
I found the strength I lost to sing my love letter to you.
Oh God, we're singing about love letters.
Lie, but my lone heart beats true.
Our letters.
I want to at least enjoy this night, get over the hangover tomorrow, and return to being a prim and proper professional after.
That song was for Cam, our lucky bride-to-be. So give her a hand, Galway Shawl.
Considering the state I'm in, one can excuse my smug grin as cheers and applause rise from among the pub's patrons. Because, possibly off-key public singing aside, I feel like I'm on top of the world right now, and that's as good a reason as any to belt out in front of these strangers. With good drinks and good friends, there's nowhere else I'd rather be tonight. And I forget for a short while.
And that song was brought to you by Marianne McCullough, everyone! A round of applause!
That was so good! You rock, Marianne.
Oh, please stop. You're just saying that.
You know neither of us can hold a tune, Marianne. A toast to our shameless drunk singer. May your drinks forever flow and your notes be ever lovely.
If anyone deserves a toast tonight, that's Cam. Finally sealed the deal after 3 years, eh?
Read 'em and wait, bitches.
Kamala's diamond engagement ring gleams as she holds it up for the world to see. She has reasons to be proud. 3 years of living together, and her boyfriend finally asked her the big question. Obviously, she said
Don't
yes.
get too attached to that ring or the one after, sweetie. I was wearing a wedding ring not so long ago, and look at where I am. But enough of me being a downer. Cheers to a happy engagement!
Oh, goody. So here we are. We have the I've been dating some guy forever and about time you put a ring on it chick. And then we got the great divorce chick that's just like, yep, all that sucks. So cheers.
Yeah. You know, that's pretty much the group. Of course, if something like Haruna's divorce were to happen, I'd be there for Cam. Just as Cam had been there for me, acting more than just my yoga instructor. I can't be happier for my friend right now.
Cheers!
Cheers.
I'd really like to know in their like art style why their little pictures have like the red around the eyes in the little drawings by the words.
Don't know. Well, we both will be there for Cam, won't we? Haruna and I. Haruna, it's been a real bad year for her ever since her divorce. She's such a nice person, even loaning me money to open a studio, and she didn't deserve what her husband has pulled. I'm happy she's smiling again and pigging out like she used to. I think we've all missed our Japanese firecracker. We met in yoga class, something I had joined to keep myself in shape, and, well, honestly, so that I could make friends when I had moved to Luxbourne. Clearly it worked like a charm. And it definitely didn't have anything to do with the fact that I brought along my lucky D20 die with me on that first day. No, sir.
She does not peg me as like we were reading her profile. And
Yeah,
she's
it's like
video game, anime. What is it?
chocolate cats, classical arts, country music, karaoke, board games, video games, anime, and other obscure pop culture items, and yoga.
Yeah, I was just shocked. Out of all the characters, she's the one that's like into all the cool geeky stuff.
I love these girls so
What
much.
about you, Marianne? You're 30 years old and you still haven't got yourself a man.
And you guys know I have a very busy schedule. I don't have time for that.
Maybe she doesn't want a man.
Oh, come on. That's a lame excuse and you know it.
Maybe she's in
You
the
need a
other
man
team.
who'll take care of you and you need it now. Maybe some hunk who'll be your house hubby while you rake in the dough.
I'm quite capable of taking care of myself. Who needs a Mr. Right?
I know a Mr. Right.
Hey, look at me. I'm Marianne McCullough, a lawful neutral cleric with 9 points in wisdom and 8 in charisma, but I can't get myself a date.
8 points in charisma is terrible. No wonder.
You would know, Mr. I played how many games of.
I mentioned druids and demons once. They don't even know the rules or understand what the numbers mean. And I certainly am not some sort of holy person. I'm a far cry from a miracle worker, and I barely have the willpower to fight off demons, especially my own.
Actually, maybe she isn't looking for a Mr. Right, but a Mrs. Right.
There we go.
Oh, my Marianne, we still love you even if you're in the closet.
That would explain some things. How do you know you don't have a ring anymore? Maybe you two can be together and I don't have to worry about my best girls being alone.
What are you on about? There's nothing to explain.
But the more I deny, the louder they tease until all the other people in the pub start to watch. It doesn't help at all when Haruna drapes her arm around my shoulders and leans
Will
in.
I be all yours then? Will you be making me feel like a woman?
I know that they're just kidding around, but this doesn't make me comfortable in the slightest. So when Kamala notices my silence and Haruna sees the expression on my face, they stop. And when the awkward air settles over us, the rest of the pub goes back to whatever they were doing before the whole thing ever happened. And they probably won't even remember it when they wake up with the massive hangovers anyway.
Sorry.
Me too.
Hey, no hard feelings, right?
I raise my glass. They smile. We drink. There's no need to say more. We're all definitely far too drunk tonight. Eventually the fun times end. It is a weekday after all. And with Haruna being a nurse, she still has to get ready for the next shift. Cam also has a loving fiance waiting for her at home and really didn't have to make a fuss about having left some buns in the oven when she took off early. Really, I understand. I was the one who insisted, who was determined to get pissed drunk anyway.
Wait, what? Is that an expression nowadays? Sorry,
Yes.
I need to go. I left buns in the oven? Like, those would have burnt hours ago.
Yes.
Or is it figurative? Do you have a bun in the oven, literally?
No, because then you wouldn't be drinking. Moving to the bar, I sit, alone at last.
Do you think that stops certain people? Oh.
Alone with a
Hello.
stranger. Now we're talking. I haven't seen him here before, obviously not a regular. He hasn't said a word and just sits there savoring his drink. With his whiskey served neat in one hand and lighter in the other, it doesn't seem like he's noticed me yet, and maybe I should go before he does look my way. Because he was pretty and he was blonde, and those two things plus alcohol never did me any good. I thought too late. Judging by the way his flushed face and dazed look in his eyes, he's as pissed drunk as I am. But whereas I feel like kneeling over, he looks like he's still ready to take the catwalk by storm. Really, he just has the air of one of those men who think they own the world.
Hello there, sexy. Please don't stand up on my account. I already like what I see.
I like his name.
Okay, dude. We need to have a chat about your liver.
Fancy a drink?
and
It'll
your wife.
be on me.
But then again, I might be pleasantly surprised if he proves me wrong.
Want some between the sheets? Sex on the beach? I'm talking cocktails, of course.
There's one called Between the Sheets.
I
I've never heard of that one.
Probably.
Sex on the Beach I have.
Fat chance. But it doesn't matter, we both know how to play this game. And there are two different ways for the night to end. One thing or another is going to happen. The question is, what do I want to do?
Oh no, that's fine. I'd rather order some blue balls or some AMF if you don't mind.
He looks like he's about to say some witty retort, but stops himself and downs the rest of his whiskey. I order a mint julep, he gets another whiskey, and we start the customary small talk. Of course, the saying, ask me no questions and I'll tell you no lies, goes without saying. We ask nothing about each other, offering up falsehoods to establish a strenuous fake connection between two strangers at a pub, if only to pass the time. Whiskey, as I have come to call him, is supposedly 21 years old, single, takes care of his sick mother, and is a manager of some sort. Well, the last one is sort of true.
Wait, does he have like split personality disorder when he's drunk?
No, they were saying that they made up personalities to tell each other.
I understand, but that's the one he went with?
Yeah. Manager of what? I didn't care to listen to the details. Meanwhile, Mint, as he has come to call me, is 29 and I'm... what did I say I was again? Oh yes, I told him that I was a professional chocolate taster because fuck it. If I'm going to lie about what my job is, I might as well make it fun.
Can I be a professional chocolate taster?
Yeah. It's a pretty decent chat between two pretty drunk strangers. And maybe it's just me, but we might as fucking well expend the tiniest amount of effort in pretending there's something meaningful in this meeting. Would have been nice too if it was just left at that. But during a lull in the conversation, he brings it up.
You know, I've never been with a woman taller than me.
And to think he might have been different from the rest.
Never have and never will. Whiskey. Can we go back to the history of chocolates? Did you know that chocolate candy was introduced in 19th century England as a healthier alternative to alcohol?
Yuck.
St. Lucy was the most beautiful woman of her time. She had men come from the four corners of the world just to see the pure light of her exquisite green eyes. She was so lucky anyway.
No, enough of the history lesson. Come on, Mint. You know and I know what you came here for.
Not you.
No. Though not every suitor was gallant, and she was no fool, she had known that sooner or later she wouldn't be able to defend her chastity.
Come on. There must be something that gets you going.
Not a Lucifer Malfoy ripoff with a daddy complex.
So she had taken out a knife and gouged out her own eyes.
There is something, but I don't think you can handle it.
Impressed with her devotion, God restored her eyes and made them more beautiful than before. He has a peculiar sense of humor, hasn't he? Because that only meant suitors kept going after Lucy, and she kept her eyes in a chalice to scare them away.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I can handle whatever it is.
Oh, if I didn't like you,
St. Lucy, help me.
if
Help
I
me
didn't
turn away
hate
from
you
sin.
before, I hate you now because you are literally like the worst pickup artist ever.
It is pretty cringy, but he is pretty drunk. Help me with my own blindness.
My place isn't too far from here. I won't take care of you if it ends up being too much for you. And no one will be able to hear you if you try to scream. You sure you want to go down that road, pretty boy?
Wouldn't have it any other way. ...
The best thing about having my condo so close to the pub is the ease of access. As long as I can stand and walk, I can make it home. Maybe I'd need help from a kind neighbor to help me with the last leg if I've gone overboard on the alcohol. But I always made it home, sometimes with company. Of course, that always comes with complications, especially with the real clingy ones. But it isn't anything a good tip about stalkers to the building security can't fix. Always nervous though, even if this isn't the first time I've done this. And the first few minutes when we enter my room are the first few agonizing minutes where I try not to panic. Okay, Mac, so far so good. Don't let him smell your fear under all that liquid courage. He'll leave sooner or later and I'll never have to see him again, just like every other man before him. I like to say to myself that the men I brought to my place were more scared than I was. Yet there's no fear when I look into Whiskey's eyes, only delight. When he starts touching me, I don't even hesitate when I push him against the door. Roughness is to be expected.
No!
And as long as he sticks to the script, everything will go smoothly. We have our little tumble in the sheets, he'll leave, we'll forget about it. If somebody asked what I really wanted, I would have told them that I wanted a bed of roses, chocolates, and music, maybe an Irish castle. But all I really want is her, and that's never going to be a reality.
Wait. Is she in love with Hana? Ooh, this would be fantastic.
Oh, that would be interesting. Oh, that would explain so much.
Except I slept with your husband.
Well, there's that. You know, it's the little things you work out in a relationship. That was my fault, of course, because I was afraid, because I was a coward. They would never hold a candle up to her. She was the light of my life, and I had let her go. I can't even be bothered at the thought of her. Just the single thought of her makes my resolve to see this affair through waver.
Wait.
What is it now?
Yes, what is it now?
So we either bang him or we don't. Is it gonna be, Marianne, to sex or not to sex? That's what it says, by the way.
Is that what it said?
Yeah, it says it right there.
Oh, was it?
I don't like him and he's such a skis ball. I said no, but that's my opinion. I'm like literally hate him. And I also feel like if she's in love with Hana, it'll score us points and we didn't screw her with her husband.
Yeah, I like... There's a small part of me that's like, I want to see the large amount of awkward that comes out of it, but...
No, this grosses me out on so many levels.
But I am kind of curious to see where that goes. Because I have a feeling there's something there. That kind of wins out for me versus like the morbid curiosity of like meeting at the mansion and everybody like, oh,
you can screw Luke outside of the.
No, we'll go with this one.
I hope everyone else agrees. Do not screw the skis ball.
We're both drunk.
Oh, that got us points. Interesting. I wonder.
I also noticed you have a 10 line where you should have a wedding ring. Yeah, he doesn't wear a ring. I was just making a joke.
Oh, I was like, wait, you can't see his hand.
Should've went with that.
This is wrong. Don't you think it's a bit fucked up that we're about to have sex and we're just calling each other by the drinks that we had? How messed up are we?
Doll, shut up with the ethics and morality talk. It is seriously putting me out of the mood.
If you want to leave now, Whiskey, I understand. I mean, with how smashed you are, it'd probably be best for you to sleep the night unless you want to be mugged. But I won't stop you. And this isn't going to happen.
Bloody hell.
Cock-blocked. Fantastic.
Of course, he's annoyed at me for putting off our night of sexual congress. But no means no, and beyond spewing a few profanities under his breath, he surprisingly simmers down soon enough. I was worried for a moment that he might try to force something. Instead, he makes a show of fixing his suit and smoothing down his hair before making himself comfortable on the nearest seat he could find.
What are you doing then? You have a guest in your home. Put the damn kettle on. Dandelion tea if you have it. But I suppose all you have are those shitty tea bags from the store.
If it isn't for the absurdity of the turn of events, I would have flipped him off for thinking I have no taste. But in the end, I just laugh. I got our cans of Korean ginseng and lemon balm, though. No dandelion. Without a second thought, I do wet the tea. That's 3 minutes to get the kettle to a boil. 3 minutes where we say nothing to each other. I mean, what do you even say to the guy I was going to sleep with until I changed my mind? I doubt he's in the mood to talk about the influence of Troyes or Mallory. It's still unusual by the time we're both seated on my bed with mugs of tea in hand.
Just so you know, whatever is going on right now is a lot stranger and fucked up than the one night stand.
We are two messed up individuals by your logic.
Everything is messed up, if you ask me. War, terrorism, famine, poverty, loved ones and loved lost. Oh, this whole world is a cesspool.
Wow, he got like surprisingly deep. The dead air is telling when it fills the room once more. One would think that this is a perfect time to burst, to spill about whatever issues that made us the fucked up person that we are today. And it is. But I guess some part of me would rather not put the weight of my problems on somebody else's shoulder. It wouldn't be fair to leave that to a person when I don't even know if we'll see each other again. Sooner rather than later, we'll both pass out on my bed, mugs left forgotten on the floor. ...
Did we let him sleep over?
Yeah.
Ew.
Well, I think the idea was that so that way he wasn't like wandering the streets drunk by himself.
Ew. That nasty ass man touched your sheets. Ew.
Doesn't sound like it's the worst thing that's happened to those sheets, though. When I wake, whiskey is already gone. A bottle of painkillers and a
what
note
the hell?
on the table are the only evidence that I wasn't alone last night. I don't even question where these are from or just how he knew my real name.
Uh-huh.
I'm just grateful for something to help with the hangover.
Are
Might
you
as well.
as creeped out by the fact that he probably pilfered through your house?
I don't think so. I think...
How would you find the pills? And how would you find out her name?
I think those were his pills. I think he knew who she was.
Creepy.
I have a job to do.
Oh, this is not going to be awkward.
Right?
Or will she not remember him?
Oh, I think she'll remember. It isn't often that I think about drinking on the job, but after meeting with the Wrights yesterday really makes me want to break my self-imposed rules. Oh, I'm so sad that we didn't get to watch that. Because first off, fucking damn whiskey was fucking damn Mr. Wright. And to top it all off, they had somehow forgotten to inform me that they didn't own the Ermengarde mansion yet when they hired me. But what sort of person does that?
Ugh, rich people.
I could do nothing but twiddle my thumbs at this, however. Twiddle my thumbs and wait for the go signal. It's not like I can accept smaller projects. This is a big job and I should be ready to start on it at any time. Not to mention that my PA practically begged me to be patient and wait this out. It was a hard decision to agree, but I did so in the end. Besides, I'm doing this for the Ermengarde mansion, not for anything or anyone else. I have a headache whatever I do anyway. I'd go to the pub again, but seeing what happened a few days ago, I'd rather not end up in bed with another potential client. And it might be a huge leap in logic, but a library is the next best thing after a pub. Yeah, it makes sense. If the pub is closed, you go to the library.
This is about right.
Vice versa, too.
Do we have a pub in a library? I would never leave.
Yeah, how come no one's come up with that yet? It would probably
Man.
get a little too... It probably would not be a good reading environment.
Because I'm going to say, there's nothing better than a good glass of wine or beer or whiskey, scotch, bourbon, and a book.
I have to go there anyway. I need more books for Dad. Plus, I need to return the ones I borrowed last time. Finding a new book or two to read for myself while I have nothing to do isn't such a bad idea either. So on Saturday morning, I find myself going to the library, only library in Luxbourne, to hopefully cool off. After returning an Urzuli and poetry book by Henry of Podbrady, I asked the librarian about the several titles on my list, though I don't have much luck on that front. Dialogue with Death has already been snatched, and she bluntly said that she did not keep our mathematical universe for someone who didn't return books on time. Wow.
Ooh,
I make headway at least when I ask about Siege and Rendition of Havana by
Whoever.
Jacobo de Venezuela. If you count her snaring and pointing at the history section as headway, that is. The history section is devoid of any other except for myself and a redhead, though I'd wager a guess that Red's just passing by to get to the classical literature section. So many books, so little time. Scanning the books and seeing so many wonderful titles gives me great pleasure, and that's when I spot it.
Hello, sailor. Why don't you come to Mama?
It's an odd
I
way
think
to
just
read a
talking to the
book.
book.
Yeah. And it's not the naval battle book I was looking for. No, it's even better. Ah. The newly acquired History of Luxbourne Architecture, first edition too. I know I just have to get it. I've been waiting to get my hands on the book for so long. The fact that there is only one copy proves to be a problem, though, when Red reaches out for it the same time I do.
I think I had this first, miss.
I knew it was going to be bad.
Yeah. I can only stare her down when she refuses to let go of the book. Refusing to let go of it as well, I raise a brow at her in the hopes that the fact that I was significantly taller than her would intimidate the girl.
Nope.
Even then, she refused with a rebellious
This
look.
isn't exactly light reading, miss. I mean, do you even know which architect was at the forefront of 18th century Irish architecture?
A beat. She blinked and I can't help the smirk on my face, which is wiped off when she opens her mouth.
Edward Lovett Pierce, who established the Palladian style through his work with Castletown House and the Irish Houses of Parliament. This bridge was destroyed in this year to delay French troops while under the regency of Mary of Guise.
This is not what I was expecting. Let's be honest, how many people would know these history facts?
Teachers.
Aside from me, anyway.
Going right to the obscure ones, aren't you? Easy enough. Tullybody
Pop
Old
quiz.
Bridge in
Suddenly, it's a game where we throw these history questions and facts at each other,
God, it's a
back
good
and forth.
old-fashioned girl pissing match over a book instead of a guy.
Is this what you guys do? You argue over architecture?
No,
And the one with the
but
most obscure fact wins? Back and forth in hushed tones unless we want to be thrown out of the library. After a while, it goes from some strange competition to the strange but friendly banter, if it could be called that. But as fun as it is, the exchange soon slows down until we're grinning at how odd this whole scene is.
Marianne McCulloch, my desire for potatoes doesn't quite match what the stereotypes suggest.
Rebecca Gales, the Scots' supposed hatred for the English wasn't enough to stop me from teaching their little spawns.
By then, we had forgotten about our little tug of war, although she still holds the book in her hands. I had let go of it without realizing when she answered my first question.
History teacher, then?
Got it in one.
No wonder you gave me a run for my money. Now, if we're talking about architecture, I'd blow you out of the water. You're from where? Luxbourne Uni?
Oh no, just St. Goretti's.
Ah, yes, Saint Goretti. You'd think a school would choose a more appropriate saint to name themselves after, especially when they have a very young students.
And I'm guessing you're an architect, if you're so confident about the subject.
Interior designer, Miss Gales.
Please, just call me Rebecca. You aren't one of my students, are you?
That'd be awkward.
Marianne, then.
I could have said that I was an architect, but there's no point in explaining why I wasn't one anymore.
So, I've never seen you before. I'd like to think I've met every history aficionado in town.
I blame the rock I've been hiding under, of course. That, and I'm usually only here on the weekdays if time allows. Work often has me meeting clients on the weekends.
That must be interesting work.
It allows for some creative freedom, sure, but it's like working with children sometimes. Though you probably have it harder working with actual children.
I don't
The
know about
hardest
that.
part is convincing them that your idea is their idea.
That sounds exciting.
It is!
But isn't that true for any workplace, though? We just cross our fingers and hope there aren't any man-children in charge of important things. Any big projects right now? I can't imagine that interior designing is a frequent thing.
I'm working on the Ermengarde mansion. Lucky me. That mansion. Intach. Wonderful. Breathtaking. I can't wait to start in it.
Run
Yeah.
far away from that place.
Now that is beautiful architecture.
Pause. It looks like she wants to say something to my mention of the house. I'm not surprised. That place is certainly popular with the locals, especially with the urban legends attached to it. In the next second, though, she seems to think better of it and drops what she's about to say.
So, do you have a portfolio or anything I can take a look at? I'd love to see your designs. Maybe you have some on a tablet. I've met some designers before, and they're always going crazy over these virtual room apps or another.
A tablet? Please. Callicrates didn't need those silly iTabs when he built the Parthenon. I certainly don't need one to design a house.
The computer back at my place is all I have. Why should I buy such an expensive gadget that will just get outdated within the year when what I have is just as functional? The traditional ways had a far more personal touch in my opinion, not to mention those smartphones are awful tools of procrastination. Yeah. I can't even count on one hand the number of people I see going outside only to have their eyes glued to these things.
Yep.
I feel personally attacked.
Exhibit A in the dictionary of how these things control your life.
I'm definitely personally attacked. And fuck touchscreens. They're evil things that make typing what should have been a simple task harder.
I do have an online portfolio if you'd like. I can...
Speaking or thinking of the devil seems to have summoned it because before I can even carry on, Rebecca's attention wanes as she pulls out her mobile. For what I can only assume is a call, she gives me an apologetic look before she standing up and excusing herself. That was weird. Off further into the aisle she goes for some privacy.
What was weird?
She gives me an apologetic look before she's standing up and excusing herself. That just sounded awkward.
Oh, okay.
I do my best to give it to her as well, trying to tune her out.
Belle, is something wrong? Lunch at the coffee house? Sure, I can make it. I'm not too far. I can be there in 10.
But with how quiet the surrounding is, she can't blame me if I overhear snippets of her conversation. When she returns with a sheepish look on her face, I know that our friendly chat has to be cut short.
Sorry, I have to go and meet with some friends.
It's fine. Totally fine. No need to even apologize.
About the book.
Her embarrassment increases twofold when she realizes she's still holding on to the history of Luxbourne architecture. I don't give her time to think about it as I put a hand up and shake my head. Fishing out a pen and paper from my bag along with one of my business cards, I hand them over to her.
You know, I'm busy with work, so I might not even be able to take a peek at it anytime soon. You can go ahead and have it, but you'll have to ring me up when you're returning it just so I can snag it right away. Deal?
She makes quick work, penning her number down and handing it back to me with a grin.
Deal. Just message me during school hours, of course. You have a good day then.
You too.
With Rebecca gone, I'm left alone standing in the history section. Although my original plans were simply to sit down and read a good book, our little pop quiz, if you could call it that, made the time pass by without any of us realizing it. It was fun, and I do believe I made a new friend. Good job, Marianne. Even with the talk of lunch, however, I don't feel like grabbing a bite to eat. There's still other books to be read here, and I'm hoping to find something that will help me while I work with the rights. Something like How to Deal with Arseholes Professionally 101, just in case.
Ones that are trying to cheat on you with their wife while drunk.
Yeah, you know. I've dealt with a lot of uppity, snooty, and rich clients before, but it's still better to be safe than sorry. Because Luke Wright just takes the fucking cake, and he probably manages to eat it too. It seems the world is conspiring to keep me from me time, as my mobile vibrates in my pockets the moment I find something from the shelves of the classic literature section.
Marianne McCulloch, Charlie Rose Design speaking.
Rose Cooper here, Miss McCullough. I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time or anything, but I just wanted to check in and tell you that we've got the clear to hand over the documents. Madam Wright told us that we should forward the floor plans to you.
Alrighty, how did they go through the process so fast? Surely there's so many red tape to even acquire the forms in the transferring of rights. No matter how rich the rights are, it shouldn't be this quick, right?
So, if I can just have your email, I'll be sending them your way.
I'd actually like a physical copy of the floor plans.
Oh, I suppose that's fine. I'm not at the office right now, but I can inform Miss Santos of your request.
I'll make sure to drop by the office after lunch if that's fine.
Not a problem. Right. Well, cheers.
Right. Cheers.
I don't know. I just don't. Is there some sort of deeper miscommunication when we last met? These things take time. It's been, what, a day? Less than that even. There isn't even a point to trying to make sense of these people who seem to be larger than life. That's probably a good spot to end for now. I don't know.
Some of this like backstory stuff, I'm kind of like, meh. Like
Yeah.
this really wasn't that interesting. This library thing, it was cool to see Becca, like that connection.
Yeah.
Like this whole like, I don't know. To me, it just wasn't very interesting. But maybe it's me.
Yeah, and then there was the bar thing.
Yeah, the bar thing was funny.
That was funny. I am so sad you don't get to see them meeting, because I think that would have been hilarious.
Oh, I think so too.
So, anyway, that's going to do it for us. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.